Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero, and welcome back to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Classic Mode. This time around we're going to be using Captain Falcon. So I actually have like an image that has the entire mural that you see there for selecting difficulty. Oh, this motherfucker footstooled me. Oh my god. And I've been using that mural for the thumbnails of this video. So basically, the thumbnails would just be the character that I'm using, you know, in classic mode. Oh, wow. Somehow I thought I would have some sort of super armor for that, but never mind. The character that I'd be using for classic mode. And then I would have, in the background, the mural that you use for, you know, selecting the difficulty, and then I would scroll it because it's like this massively wide mural, right? And I would just scroll it to whatever section has the character on it. So you can see there's Captain Falcon on the left of the screen. So it basically has like all of the Smash characters. I don't know if it includes, like if it got updated at some point and it includes the DLC fighters, but I guess we'll either find out when we get there or when I, you know, take a look or something like that. But nonetheless, today we're using Captain Falcon. He's, you know, very interesting character just because, like, I thought he was, like, a very solid character, and I thought he was, like, good in terms of, like, teaching people fundamentals and stuff like that, because he seems like, in terms of, like, advanced fundamentals, because, you know, you have to, like, time out your moves, your aerials, your combos, stuff like that. I thought he was a good way to teach you, like, advanced moves. Like, he's got sweet spots, he's got, you know, his spikes, he's got all these kinds of stuff, right? He's got the easy combo where you can do, God damn it. That's the jump. But you can do this into, like, up air and stuff like that. So I thought he'd be, like, a good character for beginners to, like, pick up and try learning. Like, I would sometimes tell people, like, hey, try picking up, like, Mario and then maybe Captain Falcon after that. Not, like, as, like, you know, main character that you would play for eternity, but just, like, a character you can use to learn how to get a handle of the fundamentals, right? So, ironically, the equivalent to, like, how in Street Fighter you would play with, like, Ryu and characters like that, in order to get an idea of the basics, because they're, you know, well-rounded basic characters. I thought Captain Falcon was that, but apparently Captain Falcon is kind of not great in this game, or any of the games since Melee, apparently. He's just been kind of, has a couple of weird issues I won't really get into. So I don't actually know if that's the case. I mean, he still does, you know, some of the things that I said, but I guess he's just not really something you should focus on. Maybe a better example would be a more competitive, competent character. I don't know. But I can't say that I know how to use him a lot myself. I just, you know, tried to take my own advice when I was trying to learn how to play this, and I started learning him sometime in the 3DS game. But it's not like I can just, you know, do all of the things, and the blue shell's gonna kill me. We can just use Go, that's fine. Wasn't expecting to get max fucking thing with the Captain Falcon anyways. But yeah, I'm just kind of learning how to do the basics, and I feel like that helped me out a little bit, at least in the very sense of like figuring out how the game works, you know. It gave me a good understanding of that. But I do have another like small history with Captain Falcon, or I covered it in Super Smash Odyssey, but since that at this point in time is no longer a thing. But basically, he was okay. He was an unlockable character in the first Super Smash Bros, which is why we're actually finishing up the first row of characters in the Smash Ultimate roster, which has all of the original characters except for Jigglypuff, who starts on the next line. But yeah, he was one of the unlockable characters, and I couldn't ever unlock him because, you know, back then it was too hard for me to play on hard mode, because I think that's the requirement. You have to play it on hard mode, and some dumb website online told me that I had to apparently beat it on hard mode with only one life and no continues. Obviously, the no continue parts it's kind of irrelevant if you're only playing with one life, but you also have to do it in like 20 minutes. I think that's the only part that is actually true. You just had to beat him, or beat the entire thing in 20 minutes, and then you would actually end up getting Captain Falcon. I think as long as it was like in higher than easy difficulty or something like that. But then I ended up lending out the game to some kid at school because, you know, he said he wanted to play the game, and I kind of felt bad for him because the game is dope. So I was like, cool, maybe I can make a friend. But then he ended up, you know, disappearing for a long time, and then telling me some nonsense about how he lost the game, or like his landlord or something took some crazy nonsense, right? But before he told me all of that, he was telling me all these stories about how he unlocked Captain Falcon, and how he would like, oh, that sucks. He would you know, Falcon punch everyone, and he had the volume on like loud, and like his mom was yelling at him and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, that character's so cool. But then I never got to fucking use him because stupid ass kid stole my game. So it wasn't until like Brawl, I guess, that I actually got to use Captain Falcon, and he wasn't too great in that game. So I didn't really get to play too much of Melee. I never owned the GameCube until like really late in my console owning career, or whatever you want to call it. But I just mainly played Melee at my friend's house, and you know, it was whenever they wanted to play it. So I didn't really have like a long-lasting memory with Melee like everyone else did. Regretfully, I probably would have really liked the game. I don't know if I would have gone into like competitive or like anything like that at the time. But my life, I feel like, would have been a lot different had I actually been able to play Melee. If I, like, for example, I remember I was like dying many Christmases to like get my mom to buy me like a GameCube, and I would like show her all these games that I wanted. And I had these like crazy expectations because I would give her like $200 worth of like the console and games, and it's like, all right, you just got to get me this and I'll be super happy, you know. It's Christmas, you got to do it. I mean, the television tells me that this is what you're supposed to do, and she's like, no, fucking, I don't have money for that shit. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? But, you know, obviously Melee was one of them, and I remember doing this before also with like some magazine that had Super Nintendo, not Super Nintendo, 64 games. And I was like, oh yeah, it'd be so cool. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Majora's Mask, because I was always pining to play that game because it was in that magazine. I was like, please, it looks so cool. And I liked Ocarina of Time. Oh my god, look, Mask, and etc, etc. But I eventually, you know, didn't get the GameCube, and would just end up having to, you know, play it at my friend's house mainly. And instead I ended up getting an Xbox, because I found some guy on, I guess it was like Craigslist or something like that, that was selling his, not, I shouldn't say some guy, he was like some kid my age. And yeah, he was selling his Xbox with some games, and that was my first foray into that generation of consoles. And then I eventually ended up getting all the other stuff, but had I maybe gotten a GameCube instead, maybe I'd have a lot more fond memory of games like, you know, Sunshine, which I really hate, Melee, which I also don't really like, and, you know, stuff like that. And in general, I feel like there's a lot of games. Oh, I'm trying to do a Falcon Punch. That's cool. There's a lot of games that I feel like I would have just really enjoyed and would have completely changed my life growing up, but instead I got an Xbox and ended up playing a bunch of Halo. And the only other game I played a lot was like Madden, because I watched that movie with Adam Sandler where he was playing football, and then True Crime, Streets of New York or whatever. But in any case, take care of yourself.